Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News and welcome to the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end today, a couple of hours later, but nonetheless, it still counts. Now, today we're going to be talking, of course, about the disappointing loss between Real Madrid and Barcelona, where Real Madrid defeated Barcelona 2-1 with goals of Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham, and with Barcelona with Fermin Lopez scoring the single goal for Barcelona. Now, this was a disappointing loss, not because we lost, because losses happen. It's part of the game. You could easily lose against Real Madrid. It is one of the biggest clubs. You know, you can't always beat Real Madrid. We beat them 4 times in a row last season. I think, you know, you can always expect a loss here and there. But it was disappointing because how we lost. Now, before we analyze actually how Barcelona played, I do want to say something because I've seen a lot of overreaction from fans talking about how this is over, the season's over, we're not going to win anything, blah, blah, blah. So before we start talking about the actual match, we do have to talk about this, the answer to whether the season is over or not. And the answer is no. I think people are a little bit, emotions are flying high. People are disappointed. Of course they are. Barcelona lost at the hands of Real Madrid, and that's always disappointing. Trust me, I'm very disappointed. I'm not happy about it, but it doesn't mean it's over. What we saw today is reversible. And why do I say that? For 2 reasons. First of all, the season is incredibly long. This was like the 9th or the 10th fixture. There's 28 other matches left. Yes, Real Madrid are 5 points ahead of Barcelona, but it's not over. It's far from over. There are 28 matches left. There's plenty of time to be able to revert the situation. In fact, last season, Real Madrid were at some point 10 points ahead of us, and we still reverted the situation, and we still won La Liga. So to say that it's over already, I think that's incredibly premature. If this was the return match, we're talking about April or May, and yes, we are 5 points behind, I'll be telling you, okay, yeah, it's not looking good. But with 28 matches left, with 7 months left in this league, it's far from over. Now, the second reason why I say this is far from being over is because, honestly, today, I didn't see anything impressive from Real Madrid. I think this is the same mediocre team that does the same thing time and time again. No game plan, no strategy, no identity, no system in place, nothing. It's the same Real Madrid that just sits back, waits for the opposing team to make a mistake, and then tries to capitalize on the mistakes by depending on individualities of players like Kylian Mbappe or Vinicius Jr. And today, I didn't see anything different. At no point did I think, oh my God, this Real Madrid is so much more superior. Oh my God, this Real Madrid is so much better than us. It doesn't matter what we do throughout the season. They're going to win it because they are so superior. Not one bit at all. This is not like last season when Barcelona was defeating Real Madrid 4-0, 5-2. And as a Madridista watching that, you could think, oh my God, there's nothing we could do. This Barcelona is so much better than us. Today, that wasn't the case. At no point did I think this Real Madrid was so much better than Barcelona. In fact, I truly believe that Barcelona lost today, not because of how great Madrid was, but because of how bad Barcelona was. So Barcelona lose today based on demerit rather than Real Madrid winning based on merit, because again, this is the same exact mediocre Real Madrid that we've seen time and time again. And in fact, if you don't believe me, just look at how the match ended. Barcelona played like absolute shit today. And despite that, the match ended with all 11 Real Madrid players defending in their box, begging the referee to blow the whistle, wasting time, starting fights on the sideline. I mean, this is such a mediocre Real Madrid that, again, despite how bad Barcelona were, they still had to resort to those tactics because at no point was Real Madrid that much more superior to us, where they were like, we can like even take it down a notch and still be able to cruise and we'll still be able to win. So this is why I say this is a reversible situation because A, the season is long, and B, this is not a superior Real Madrid. This is not a Real Madrid that is, wow, look at how well they play. No matter what we do, there's no way to beat them. In fact, if Barcelona had played half, not even as good as last season, we could have easily won this El Clasico match. And this is why I say it's disappointing, right? It's disappointing because, again, at no point was Madrid that much better than us. Now, let's talk about exactly what happened during this match. As always, I do like to start with the lineup. This is the lineup that Hansi Flick chose. for today's match. Of course, Wojciech Szczesny on goal. We have Jules Koundé and Alejandro Balde as our two fullbacks. Cubarsí and Eric Garcia as our center back pairing. In a double pivot, we had Pedri, who did get a red card, and Frankie de Jong, well, two yellows that became a red. Lamine Yamal on the right, Rashford on the left, Fermin Lopez as an attacking mid, and then Ferran Torres as our center forward. That, of course, changed later on in the match with Fermin moving to the left wing, Rashford moving to the center forward, Pedri moving into the attacking mid, and then Marc Asado taking the place of Pedri in that double pivot with Frankie de Jong. Now, let's talk about the team itself, because today, and all these past matches, I no longer see a team. Last season, Barcelona were a team. They showed up as a team, they played as a team, they won as a team, and they lost as a team. This season, I am not seeing a team. This season, I'm seeing 11 individual players, each doing their own thing, each fighting their own battle, and I'm also seeing players that are way, way below of their form or where they're supposed to be, or where they were during last season. And I think that's been a big, big reason on why this team has been struggling, and why we lost today, and why we lost against Sevilla, why we struggled against Girona and Olympiacos during the first half, and why we lost at the hands of PSG, because I no longer see a team. I see 11 individual players, each doing their own thing. And this might be related to what Hansi Flick said. Remember the first time we dropped points during the season when we drew? I can't remember against which team, Leganés or someone. Hansi Flick said something about the egos. And I'm starting to think that maybe that's what's affecting the team. Maybe there is an egos problem, and maybe Hansi Flick was warning us about that ego problem, where right now the locker room is not all rowing in the same direction. This is not the same locker room as last season, where all the players were incredibly united. All players fought together, shoulder to shoulder. They all rode together. They all played as a team, won as a team, and lost as a team. This time around, I'm seeing 11 individual players that do their own thing. Also, today, big disconnect between the front line and the rest of the team. I think today our front line was absolutely non-existent. Lamine Yamal didn't do anything. Rashford didn't do anything. Ferran Torres, I think time and time again, I keep saying this, but it becomes more and more obvious. Ferran Torres might be a good option off the bench, decent option off the bench, but as a starter, as a center forward starter for Barcelona, he just does not have the level. Ferran Torres is nowhere close to be the starting center forward for Barcelona. Barcelona needs someone like the Haalands of the world, Julian Alvarez, Kylian Mbappe. That's the kind of player that Barcelona should have in the center forward position. Ferran Torres ain't it. Anyways, big disconnect today between the front line that was pretty much not doing anything. The midfield was kind of rowing on their own, where they didn't really understand whenever the back line was building from the back. So there was a little bit of confusion whenever Cubarsí or Eric Garcia would try to pass it to Pedri or Frankie de Jong. And then when Pedri or Frankie de Jong would have the ball, our front three were just not making the runs. They were not trying to get open. They were not moving. They were all static. Everybody standing in their place. Everybody's just waiting for the ball. And that's not how you win matches. You have to make runs. You have to get open. You have to run to that space and pass the ball to that space. But nobody was doing it. And without that quick circulation of the ball, without players running their routes and looking for spaces to run into, it's just, we're not going to win. It doesn't matter if it's Real Madrid or if it's Sevilla or if it's Getafe. Without quick ball circulation, this does not work. Now, today also, our fullbacks completely gone. Jules Koundé, Hansi Flick, what are you waiting for? Jules Koundé needs to go to the bench. Jules Koundé was absolutely awful today, just like he has been the entire season. Koundé does not deserve to wear the Barcelona kit. Koundé does not deserve to get a single minute of playtime until he decides that he actually wants to show up for the team, because Koundé today was completely gone. He was not pressing. He was not tracking back to defend. Every pass he made was a wrong, inaccurate pass. Terrible match by Koundé. And usually we talk about players improving with every match. Koundé is getting worse and worse and worse, which I did not think was possible. Like, Koundé has been pretty horrible. Today, he got even worse. Balde, completely disconnected from the match. Every time that the defensive line were trying to set up the offside trap, Balde was looking somewhere else. Balde was distracted. He was consistently reacting too late. He was consistently tracking back too late. He was consistently trying to press the other players way too late. Balde, complete disconnection. It's like his Wi-Fi signal was not working and his brain was consistently buffering. Horrible match by our fullbacks. Horrible match by our attacking line. And overall, this was just a bad team effort where the team was just not pressing like they were supposed to be. The only time they pressed right, Fermin ends up getting the ball and we end up scoring a goal. It's like, was that not enough for the players to realize, oh, look, when we do our job, it actually works. We did our job for 5 seconds. We pressed, we won the ball. Fermin shoots, goal. We did our job for 5 seconds and we already have a goal. Can you imagine if we do our job the entire 90 minutes? I mean, was that not a clear signal for the team? Everybody's static. Nobody's running. Nobody's getting open. Nobody's doing anything. Again, we are seeing a big problem with this team where it's no longer a team. This team is no longer a team. Lamine Yamal, really bad first half. Second half, much better. He was at least trying. But I don't know what's been going on with Lamine. I don't know if it's the injury, because ever since he got injured against with the Spanish national team, he has not been the same player. I don't know if maybe the media is getting to him with him constantly being in the spotlight, people constantly talking about him. I don't know, but Lamine Yamal needs to figure out what's going on because he needs to step it up. And today he was just like mostly ghosting first half. Second half, he tried things, but it wasn't even working out that well. Marcus Rashford, we need more. We need more. If he wants us to pay those 30 million euros to Manchester United, we need more. Sure, he does have explosive runs here and there, but those are just little flashes here and there. We need more consistent performance by Marcus Rashford as the minutes go by. And like I said, Ferran Torres does not have the class or does not have the level to be a starting center forward. Koundé needs to be benched ASAP. Balde needs to get his act together or he should be benched as well. And then, unfortunately, Pedri, double yellow, red card. It means he's going to miss the next match. Really silly second yellow card by Pedri. The first one was necessary. Vinicius Jr. was counter-attacking. He was pretty much gone. The only way Pedri could stop him is by holding on to his kit. Otherwise, that would have been a for-sure goal. So that was absolutely necessary. The second one, Pedri's dribbling. The ball gets too far away from him. And instead of just letting it be, he decides to go for the tackle. Of course, Tchouaméni does oversell it, but you don't do that. That's a dangerous play. When the ball gets away from you, you don't go and tackle to try to get it back because that's always going to be a yellow. Very silly double yellow by Pedri. And again, overall, this team is going to have to dig deep and they're going to have to start playing as a team again because we know what they're capable of. This is the crazy part. We know that when this team do what they're supposed to do, we know what they're capable of. We defeated Real Madrid 4 times in a row last season. 4-0, 5-2. We defeat them in 2 finals. We know what this team is capable of. They have played as half as they can play or as half as good as they played last season. This team could have beat Real Madrid for the 5th time in a row, but instead they didn't show up, and instead they lost this match completely because of them not showing up rather than because of what Real Madrid did. Because again, I did not see anything impressive from Real Madrid. The only thing they did different is that they pressed high because they know this Barcelona, you can cause them damage. As soon as you put a little bit of pressure on them, you can cause them damage because they're just not sharp. They are not making the right passes. Their passes are inaccurate. So there you can steal the ball. Also, nobody's getting open. So the guy who has the ball might have to hold it a little bit too long, which again, you can steal it from him. So they know. So that's all I'm going to say. And please, I saw this a lot during the watch along of people like talking about Lamine Yamal's girlfriend. Please have some respect. Please have some decency. Players are allowed to have girlfriends. It has nothing to do with the girlfriend. Lamine Yamal is going to have to figure out how to do it. I mean, Lionel Messi had a girlfriend when he was playing and he was married and then he got kids. Please stop bringing up these personal matters. It's fine to criticize a player's performance on the field, but to start bringing up, oh, the girlfriend this and the girlfriend that, please have some respect. Please have some decency. It's totally unacceptable. How would you like it if at work you were not performing and people would be like, oh, you're not performing because your girlfriend is this and your girlfriend is that? Pretty sure you would not like it. So please have some respect. That's all I'm going to say because I saw that a lot during the watch along. But yeah, something's going on with the egos of these players. This locker room is not the same locker room as last season. And these players are going to have to do some self-reflection. They're going to have to dig deep. They're going to have to figure out whether they still want to be a team, whether they still want to, win things, because otherwise there's just It's just not going to happen. So very disappointed with this loss. Again, not because we lost, because losing is part of the game and you can always lose against Real Madrid. But I'm very disappointed because this was a Real Madrid that we could have beat. This was not a Real Madrid that played so well that I was like, okay, yeah, there's nothing we could do. It doesn't matter who we had on the field or how well we played. They were so good. This is a Real Madrid that we could have easily beat. But instead we didn't, because we didn't show up. This team did not show up, and they're going to have to figure out what to do, because the way they are playing right now, it's absolutely horrendous. And no, it's not the high line. The high line saved us actually from a thrashing. The high line ended up canceling 2 goals that Real Madrid scored, plus there was other 2 plays that could have ended in goal that also ended up in offside. So no, it's not the high line. It's the fact that these players are not even applying what they're supposed to be applying. They're not even doing what they're supposed to be doing. This is like a car racer losing every race and then be like, well, it's the car. No, it's just he's not even showing up to the races. That's why he's losing. So if you're not even applying the system, how can you even blame the system when these players are not even applying it, because they're just not trying? So that's all I have to say. Again, these players are going to have to dig deep. Players are going to have to come together, because this is not it. This is not it. And yes, the season is long. Yes, we can revert the situation. But if these players don't change how they're playing, they're not going to be able to revert the situation, because this is unacceptable. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. That's all I got to say. I'm going to go have some lunch, hit the gym, try to forget about this disastrous performance. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. No more videos today. I will be doing news videos tomorrow. Not a lot of news today, honestly. You know, it's a clasico match, so not a lot of news. But I will see you guys in tomorrow's podcast. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, be Barca.